grandparent, and youth advocate. 41 years ago, my mother, sister, and I was forced to retreat, to come to South Carolina, escaping the abusive hands of my stepfather. I was often left in the care of my grandparents who was barely surviving on a limited income. My grandmother's high school diploma only afforded her opportunities of a minimum wage job, while my grandfather's third grade education marginalized him to the back roads of Lawrence County, where he'd spent hours looking for and gathering aluminum beer cans and soda bottles to exchange for just a few dollars. This was his desperate attempt to keep the lights on, to put a little gas in the car, or maybe feed the hunger in the pit of my stomach. Life became more challenging as my mother's addiction to crack cocaine emotionally and financially drained our family. My grandparents did all they could to provide stability for me and my sister, but was denied the right for legal guardianship because that would take away my mother's resources to support her habit. But to ensure the safety of my mother's activities that included physical abuse and sexual abuse, my grandparents complied. Take the check, but just let us keep Rona. The state of South Carolina provided the ransom to my mother, just so that I could stay safe. With this voucher system, children's education and safety will be negotiated at a $7,000 ransom. For grandparents who do not have the right or the fight for legal guardianship, that $7,000 would be in the hands of my crack-addicted mother to make the right choice. Are we considering this situation for thousands of families? It was my 5th grade teacher, Mary Fortune, who provided safety in my grandfather's absence, a public school teacher, might I add. It was a public school teacher who saw something in me that I had not yet seen in myself. It was a public school classroom that I found refuge. Mary Fortune, a public school educator. Years later, as a confused and fearful teenage mother, I struggled. I didn't need a voucher system to help me overcome my challenges. I needed a support system. John Hendricks, my 11th grade U.S. history teacher, became a part of that support system. In my mind, the only choice I had was to follow the path of drug addiction, incarceration, and generational poverty. But this public school teacher joined efforts with my grandparents and provided a different choice to defy the odds, to graduate from high school and college, and change the course of my life. During one of my rebellious acts of foolishness, John Hendricks looked me in the eye and he said, Rona Neely, well, Rona Williams at that time, you will not quit. You will graduate. John Hendricks, a public school educator. What will happen to the students like me who do not meet the expectations of private schools? When a public school can no longer afford great teachers like Mary Fortune and John Hendricks? How would families like mine ever afford the inflated tuition of private schools after public school options are no longer equitable? How will grandparents like mine, Otto and Lula Mae, how will they pay the additional costs of tuition, provide meals, transportation, technology, uniforms, school supplies, and other unmentioned expenses that come with a private school when they barely had enough to afford the basic necessities of life? Because of the support that my family received from these 2 public school educators, I did not follow the path of destruction. Instead, I made a choice to break cycles. As an 18-year veteran public school educator, I've had the privilege of serving many children who share in my experiences. A voucher system is not what our children, parents, teachers, or state need. A voucher does not provide equitable opportunities of choice. It only provides the illusion of choice. What we need are supportive teachers, supportive administrators, and funding for additional support services. Therefore, I strongly oppose this bill. As I prepare to take my seat, I leave you with one question. What options could we provide all South Carolina children? If our efforts were to establish comprehensive student support system instead of inequitable voucher systems that further divide our state and country into two categories, the haves and the have-nots. Thank you so much. At this time, I'll accept your question.